Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Good morning. Welcome everyone to Pimlico Racecourse. Naomi Tucker joined by Keith Fustel, who had quite a good day, Keith. Your picks were coming in. Pays to listen to you, it seems.
I don't know. Nobody listens to me, do they? Let's hope a little bit. Some people listened yesterday. Bel Tapiceria, though, had a big price yesterday. That was really good for Kieran. I was shocked to see. I lined the horse at 8, but I thought it might take a little bit more play in there. Eastern Bay, an excuse. But no, we were seeing the ball pretty well yesterday.
Well, I was slightly disappointed in how Eastern Bay ran. In terms of his class, you think he would have been able to at least show up a little bit more than he did. I do believe Chloe Gonzalez got another dropper in here today, completed pass, so we'll see how he fares. But in terms of his form, I feel like he's coming in doing a little bit better than Eastern Bay was. So we'll talk about that in a second. We got a big weekend coming up. Aside from stakes action, we also have a little bit of a giveaway. We'll get to that in just a second. Maryland Pride. Maryland, a strong day. 4 Maryland bred stakes with $300,000 in purses. 12:40 p.m. post as usual. Really looking forward to that day, because aside from the on-track action, which is going to be high quality, we expect nothing less here for our stakes races. The racing office does a tremendous job. Gillian Tulloch, Trish Bowman, they make sure that the quality horses are there. We also have a fan appreciation initiative on the same day. I was about to say day, but on that same day. And you can get a couple of nice souvenirs, which were left over still from Preakness Day. Who wouldn't mind that?
You got to love it. We got to thank the fans. Without them, the bettors, we don't have anything, right? There is nothing going on. We need the people in here betting. You know, if you haven't signed up yet for First Bet, do that. But yeah, Fan Appreciation Day. Doors open at 11:30. It's a first come, first serve kind of a deal for these items. So glasses, hats, I'm sure some shirts and things of that nature. So try to get out early, get a spot, and enjoy some live racing. As we said, Trish does a great job putting these stakes races together, and we're going to highlight the Maryland Preds on that day.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I love the Maryland Bred program, especially some of these Maryland Bred allowance races. Tough runners that turn up every single time, and I enjoy following them and enjoy seeing them trying to take turns at beating each other. Yeah, it's just been so much fun, especially when you follow this circuit.
And over time, the last several years, they've gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. So you now there's really not a very big difference between that Open, other than, and the State Bred. Yep.
And they do well outside of the Mid-Atlantic, too. We've said it before. Knicks go not too long ago, last weekend, Whitney Stakes winner at Saratoga. I mean, doesn't really get better than that, right?
It doesn't get much better than that. Not right now.
Yeah, so much as usual to look forward to. Can't wait to see some more fresh faces, fresh Maryland breds on the scene. Let's have a look at the current track conditions. 8-race card coming up. Fast main track.
Yeah.
We are on the turf. We've had a fair bit of rain over the last couple of days, so currently graded as soft.
Yeah, we had some heavy rain come here a couple of days ago after the card. Actually, kind of just as the last race was getting ready to go, the rain started, and it carried on quite heavily for a couple hours. So, yeah, we're going to deal with a soft turf course. We'll see if we can upgrade it. Going to be interesting from a handicapping standpoint. We usually don't get the soft turf course too often in here.
And actually, we'll talk about that when we get to the turf races as well. But when you're looking at horses having to navigate a condition that they aren't too familiar with, because as you said, how often do we really race on a soft turf? What do you look for? Are we looking at breeding, prior experience?
Yeah, that both. I mean, and you can dig a little deeper if you had the time this morning, you know, to maybe go into a formulator or such, pedigree career, and kind of see, okay, is there anything down the line I can pick out that's going to maybe even give me a bigger price. But this is a turf course that's going to, you know, I'm going to watch a race or two. We'll see how it goes. But I've got a price shot in race 2. I know that. So hopefully that horse takes the off going.
I will, looking forward to it. I mean, I actually looked at the turf races and started sort of re-handicapping them, just knowing that there was going to be a little bit of cut in the ground, and kind of just started looking for these horses that have dealt with it, have shown that they're okay on it. So, looking forward to that. But let's start with race number 1, Nickel Claimer for the ladies, 5.5 furlongs on that fast main track. You go with Zig for trainer Dale Capuano. Last time out, showed some speed. Had a bit of a bumpy start and then couldn't see out the trip. But before that, took them coast to coast at that 9:02 lifetime. So I guess, he just run through his conditions, wasn't in for the tag that day because he hadn't ran in a while. Now looking to kind of rebound back to those figures. Yeah,
I'm hoping she can bounce back. She's got speed. She threw in a towel kind of early last time, but maybe a little bit of a bounce factor. Big 60 buyer off the layoff. Jumped up into the condition next time for the 3 in life. Couldn't get it done. But she'd go back on her page. She can sit just off of it as well. I think her main threat up front is going to be Sublimity, a 4-time winner back in this 3 in life condition because she is a 3-year-old. Going to take advantage of that. Didn't fare too well last time. A little quick pace, backed up, but certainly could be a forward factor. I go 1, 2, 5, 3. I think Saleya is going to enjoy the flow of this race as well. The other Dale Cott runner going turf to dirt, which is a huge angle for him. That percentage is unbelievable.
A couple of runners with that similar angle coming up today. Indeed, nearly 40% winners when he moves them from the turf to the dirt. It seems like perhaps his program is more suited to dirt racing when it comes to that. And you see that tries them on the turf, and if they don't like it, just brings them back to what he does best and what they know as well. I landed on the number 5, Sacred Lady for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. She does also need to find some of her prior form, a couple of these in here. But she has been running at higher claiming levels, dropped down to the nickel. I'm looking for her to kind of, start getting settled at this sort of bottom level and regain that kind of confidence that she showed in the past when running, claiming 16 level, where she absolutely was mixing it with them.
Yeah, she doesn't have like a big punch at 5.5. I think she's going to have to be urged along to stay close. Got the right kind of rider here today with J.D. Acosta to maybe carry her to the wire. This was a very difficult race, I think, to get you started on today's card. Sublimity, a question mark. Now, a little bit of early money, I think, is going to come in on that one. But I'm not so sure. The barn's a little chilly, but I think this race one, you kind of got to just go with one, stick with it, top and bottom with the field, because I think it's kind of anybody's ball game here in the opener.
I agree. It seems a wide open event. They can definitely take turns beating each other. Race number 2 will be our first event on the turf here, but also the start of the early pick for which you decided to create a ticket for us today. How are we playing it?
Well,
I see you go 4 deep in this.
I'm not really sold on anybody in race 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. I don't have Dominating Buyer, who was 5-2 on the morning line. 1 scratch out of race 2, the 5, Tough But Fair. We go 2 deep in the 3rd with the 1 and the 7. Yeah, no such thing as a sure thing, right? Frostera the other day gets beat, completed pass. This guy, he's tough. He didn't look real comfortable last time. I watched that video up at Delaware. dropping to the 25, like Eastern Bay, right, Naomi? We'll see. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with the 2, 3, and 4. Race 5, Cranston's Network, going to take plenty of play in there. Francis X off a little bit of a break and a drop will be my top selection. Don't leave out Damon's Firster, $12 ticket.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that you singled on a completed pass, because I have him on top as well.
Yeah.
I think he's looks better in here than Eastern Bay did yesterday. But still question marks because of the drop, though.
Sure. Man, he really, I mean, last time out, the number did regress a little bit, but that was a good field. My Taiwan On is a good turf horse for Sabelli. There's the Sabelli factor again. He can
double the other day.
His biggest key is getting out of the gate. We've seen him in the past, trouble with that, but he can even regress a little, and I still think he can beat this field. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Indeed. Race number 2, 5 furlongs on the turf. Fillies and Mares 3-year-old and up, claiming 16 to 12.5. Nominated to lifetime. We'll start with the number 2. Keep your skates on. Both of us use her as our backup choice in second. We have a video of her last turf event, also on the good going there. And she had to wait for room. We see her there. She got that perfect sort of pocket trip.
Yes.
But sometimes that also means that, you know, you might just have a horse come over, or you even had to wait at some point, because then she has another bit down the stretch where she has to kind of try and navigate the
Absolutely. Good pick up there with the 8 dropping down to get position into the turn, forcing the rider there, Geraldo, John Geraldo, to check pretty sharply. She was a little keyed up this day, though, Naomi. Yeah, right there in a little bit of a pocket coming to the 8th pole. Showed more speed. She was into it definitely earlier than what she was in that turf debut. And right here, just not really comfortable enough space to travel through and really fire. Drops back down. But I tell you what, a lot of guts all the way through. She showed it. We talked about her breeding, the mare bottom side, turf, and turf sprinting. So, yeah, we'll give her another shot. She's going to be hard to keep out of your exactas and tries with that move from just off the pace.
She is indeed. Now, you use a runner in here that I don't even include in my top 4. You have her on top. 6-year-old mare, the number 4, Pass It On for Carlos Mancia, has been campaigned going longer. Now kind of a very sort of sharp turn back to this 5 furlong, but you're seeing it happen here.
I'm trying to see it happen. I'm trying to wish it right in there. But you've got a jockey-trainer combo that's very good. Strong percentage, strong ROI. Freshened up. Carlos Mancia can do this. He can get these horses to run well. One thing she's shown she's never sprinted on the turf. She's gone 7.5, 2 turns, and that was her best race. So her shortest race on the turf was basically her best. She was in front of Valeria, a horse that's won 2 straight recently. They can run in the 60s.
Yeah.
You run around a 60 in this race, I think you're going to win it. Just a fresh face, kind of when you're handicapping these races and you got 3 or 4 or 5 that really look close. That kind of horse, it's just on the fringe that people just don't pick up. I'm just trying to be a little bit of a wise guy here with Pass It On. I mean, if you hold a gun to my head with Sheldon here, keep your skates on. That's the horse I probably trust the most. Value shot is the 4, Pass It On.
See, I'm trying to find, to navigate my way through this race using that Hell in a Shell race that we just watched with Keep Your Skates On. Because Green Eyes, she also ran into trouble. She was actually on the rail, couldn't continue her race at all. Xavier basically had to kind of half stand up on her, and she couldn't continue. But I think her high draw here is going to help her stay out of trouble. She has a lot of speed. I love that for the 5 furlong moves. I just love horses that, are right there, and then either they're going to get there or they're going to, maybe get nabbed on the wire. But hopefully this time Green Eyes can actually use that all the way up instead of being stuck on the rail, because that day she had the rail draw. There wasn't really anywhere else for her to go. Outside draw, Xavier Perez, Jerry Robb. Now, they've kind of gotten back down a little bit. We haven't seen them winning as often as we're used to of them, but still, the stats are there for this extended Preakness meet. 23% winners. The Robb stable, 25% here in 2021. Still firing, even if we haven't seen them win in the last couple of months.
And that's the key to show you how good they were going. I mean, the last 30 days, if I've got this right, 0 for 22, 9 for 22 in the money. So from a betting standpoint at a short price, you've got to take that into consideration. But Green Eyes seemed a little bit more comfortable 2 races back on the turf, wide, and made that move and finished up a little bit better. So she's going to be dangerous with her speed, just natural speed. She's going to be around here a long ways here in race number 2.
And you mentioned 2 races back, she also finished in front of Keep Your Skates On. So that was kind of my angle of using her in front here. Both didn't get to run the race that they hoped to run last time out. So we'll see how they run. I've got the 8-2-6-3, 4-2-8-6 for you. I'm keeping my eyes on your 4 for sure in race number 2.
Just a little flyer there, a little shot.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Race number 3, Start of the Rainbow, pick 6. I decided to create a ticket for that today. Did find my single, kind of forced myself to have one. Fast Lani in race number 6. Race 3, because of a couple of scratches throughout the fields, I've gone a little bit tighter here. You can see $28.80 ticket, not as expensive as I think it was $54 before. 1 and 7, Self-Awareness on the rail, and I want to respect the number 7, Royal Thunder on the outside for race number 3. Race 4, 3 deep, 2, 3, and 5. The 5, my top selection there, completed pass. We already discussed him. We'll discuss him in just a second if he is vulnerable. I think he is a little bit. So I used the 2 and the 3 as well as backups. Race 5, I used the 3 and the 4 there. Effulgent, first time starts with Damien DeLodovido and Cranston's Network, going to show speed in that maiden 16. Race number 6, I use the 1, Fast Lani, as my single. At the beginning, I did not have her on top. I tried to beat her, but her best race came on good going last time out. Nearly took them all the way. Same conditions here, 5 furlong, now soft ground. I think she's going to handle it well. I think she's going to, I think it's to her advantage that perhaps it's difficult for closers to really get down to
ramp
work
it up.
when it's soft. And she's just speed on speed and drawn low. So I take my chances here with the Charles Frock filly. Race number 7. 4 deep in there. I used the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5, and then the nightcap maiden 25 level. The 1, the 7, and the 8 there. To try and round this out. I must admit, the race 7 of Sibelius, I tried to see if I can use him to beat Everett Song, but he's not lining up. So I just go 4 deep in there, see if I can get a price home. $28.80 as we'll get going with race number 3. And we'll start with with the number 1, Self-Awareness. I was about to say my single, but that one's a lot later. We have a video of her last efforts that was right here at Pimlico on the main track. To get it done here, just got nabbed really, but that was a game performance and I'm not discrediting her at all.
Very game. And real quick, when it went on fast forward, it was really fast. I tell you what, I need that move out of the blocks, right? When I'm trying to, race my son in the backyard to come away that quick. It's the only shot I got of beating him. But no, here we go. Kieran now off the claim. Last 3 years on the dirt, he's 18 for 57, 32%, 34 for 57 in the money. First off the claim, off of this type of break, 31 to 60 days, $2.21 is your ROI. This kind of reminds me, this is the sprint version of a race that was run yesterday with Johnny Sack and Depository. One thing I was talking about with Bill, where the 2 horses definitely kind of have that flow advantage early. They can stay. They're both stayers, Royal Thunder and Self-Awareness. They're both in pretty good form. The rest of them are kind of horses I just don't see they're going to find themselves back in too much to do as long as these 2 avoid an early duel, So watch the jocks the first 1/8 of a mile. I think Self-Awareness is a little bit quicker. If Royal Thunder just takes the measure and he can get away with like a 23-2-47 or 46, I think these 2 can kind of control it up front and fight it out from the top of the stretch home.
Yeah, similar for me. And that's why I only used the 1 and the 7 on my Rainbow Pick 6 ticket, because I feel like those are the horses to beat in here that claiming a 16 level, especially with that beautiful stat that you've given us, and they seem to pay off. So I'm glad I'm on board with this one, and make sure that you are too. And then the 5 and the 4 we both use underneath. But you're right, these are horses that the flow isn't going to help them out as much if they're not going to lock horns early. If that does happen, then you are looking at the likes of Fugitive and Fast Cash to say, hey, this is great. Let's make a move and let's see if we can collar them. Yeah,
Fast Cash, interesting. Those 2 really bad races was taken off of the race for 16 down to 10. okay, wide every step, a little bit of a run. I like the little move back up in class. Maybe they said, okay, maybe we're getting them figured out, but we shall see. 1-7-4-5. We're both on the 1-7 here.
He's
in race
apparently
3.
a tricky horse
Yeah,
to
that's
train
what
and
you were
ran
saying.
off in that
Yep.
Sheldon Russell race 2 starts ago. So perhaps Hugh McMahon has figured out
Worked
how
a little
to keep
magic.
him yeah, you never know. Different barn routine, different riders. Sometimes it just resets a horse. So we'll see if that has happened with a Fast Cash. Race number 4 back on the turf. 5 furlongs, sprinting optional claimer. Starter allowance here for 3-year-old and up. And Keith and I use the exact same horses, slightly different order on the back end, but the top horse very, very similar. Completed pass. Now, the first thing we do is, of course, draw a comparison to yesterday, to Eastern Bay, also a stakes winner, dropping back down. What I do love about Completed Pass, that one, I think his form is better than Eastern Bay's was coming in here. He's won on good and yielding turf before, and I think that is going to give him a great advantage. But, you know, is he trustworthy?
Well,
I think he is. I use him on top, and so do you.
I think he is. And with the scratch of the 9 oldies but goodies, if he just misses the beat a little bit, he's got this speed still to recover. And I think Angel Cruz is going to be aggressive and just send him on his way and go ahead and control things. He got caught in between horses at Delaware. He never really was traveling smoothly there. He just never got comfortable. But, man, he showed all the heart in the world to outfinish Cannon's Roy, who came back and ran well in his stakes. So you've got a barn and an owner. You know, they are in the claiming game, and they have worked wonders. They've done great with some of these horses. So you go back to 25. Okay, somebody wants them. Okay, fine. If not, we'll keep them and move on.
Yeah, King Leatherbury Stakes winner not too long ago, the 24th of April. So just clearly in terrific condition, 7-year-old that is still firing over these sprinting distances. Well, both of us used the number 2, South Sea underneath for Bob Clasaris. Forest Boyce aboard. She won on this 7-year-old last time out. Now we know Forrest rides this turf impeccably. Yeah,
she's a phenomenal turf rider, and she's pretty good on the dirt as well. She times the flow of races perfectly. She gets horses to relax. Probably one of the more underrated. She's been around a long time, but she's still, I mean, she proves herself to me all the time. So the way she just kind of gets horses to sit and gets them in the perfect spot, covered up, and gets them to finish. Yeah, I think this horse lays closest and can kind of do the chasing from the stretch, from the top of the stretch home.
Yeah, you use the number 3. I use number 3, Gins and Tins underneath, and you do as well. 6-day quick turnaround from that Delaware allowance. Did close very well. This is the type of horse that you're looking for late.
Yeah, again, though, usually it's back quickly here today and falls kind of further back. And on this softer ground, is he going to be able to kind of generate that kick? You know, when a horse, a classy horse like Completed Pass, has that advantage on him.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break,
Okay.
but we'll be right back with race 5.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground on her inside. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12, and then roll into the backstretch.
Back to Pimlico Racecourse. We're on race number 5. 8 race cars, fast main track, soft turf. Much action to look forward to. And race number 5 at 5.5 furlongs, sprinting on the main track here. 4 maiden claimers, 16 to 12.5. Let's start with your top selection, Keith. I didn't get to him. Francis X, steep drop from that maiden 40. Has been running 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs. Has shown speed 2 starts ago over that 7 furlongs. But just, you know, looking at some of his latter figures, the ones, if you look at the last 3 races, just hasn't been able to put 2 and 2 together.
Really tailed off after the first 2, but a freshening, dropping down here, the homebred. Forrest Boyce angle again. His best race to me was with the race with Forrest at 5.5 furlongs. She'll have a little speed in here. Miracle Bobby, I think, will go out. We know Cranston's Network is going to be up there. The big guy, Cranston's Network, going to go, second off the claim for Linda Albert. But Francis X, I mean, look who he's kind of faced. Sula Barbados, Escapability, Johnny Sack. Good horses. Okay, good horses. This is major relief. Given time to regroup. Got a bullet work coming in over Timonium. Pretty respectable work there. I think this horse can just sit inside. It's going to get the forest trip, wait, let things develop, and then finish.
Yeah, look, I didn't get to him because I just wasn't convinced on his last couple of outings that he really has what it takes to get his nose in front. But we'll happily take a wait and see approach. I landed on the horse that you mentioned, the Cranston's Network. He's most likely going to show speed. Campaigned on the turf last time out. Wasn't comfortable on the grass. Didn't look like he was enjoying that at all. But we do see him here on the conditions that suit him much better. Sprint dirt event hasn't, breeding suggests that we shouldn't give him too many issues when it comes to perhaps a bit of cutting the ground. I thought this morning we were going to have a little bit of moisture still, but it's coming up as fast, and that helps Cranston Network even more, I think.
Yeah, his first 2 races, and any one of those 2, he probably wins it. If he separates from this field early, he's a big guy. He's kind of intimidating. He should.
He is big.
I would think, and get it done. Rippolino, a drop in class, maiden special weight to maiden 16, trying to pick things up from the back of the pack. Gotta look at the firster though too. This is we're thinking there's no slam dunk in here. So Damien comes in with a 4-year-old. Plenty of time to get to the races. First time Lasix. Stallions about 10%, but with first time starters. Mare won second out. Lone Sib won debut. Wire to wire. Not a great fig, but like a mid-50 fig. Given plenty of time, okay? The work on July the 25th, 49 breezing out of the gate. I know it was the 7th rated work out of 30. I looked at some of the horses that worked that day. That was a good work. So I'm going to kind of rely on that and just, I like it. Giving a horse plenty of time. Put him in a spot where the confidence can be right there early, where it can gain that confidence. Doesn't have to do too much. So I'm going to use the 3. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I did as well, especially in a field like this where I'm not completely sold on some of the runners aside from Cranston's Network. You mentioned Rippolino dropping back down for that maiden special weight. Much needed because he just has not been able to get the job done at that level. Now, he ran good 2 races ago, but I think this is exactly where he needs to be in for the tag as well. So, you always want to look at these drop in classes, just like you pointed out with the number 2 Effulgent. As we move along to race number 6, we're back on the turf. We got a fair few turf sprints today. Another 5 furlong dash on the grass. This time a first level allowance event for fillies and mares 3-year-old and up. And let's look at one of the video spots like we have. I use her in second. You have her underneath, the number 8 Miss Margarette, and you can see her right there. That was at Penn National, and she's sitting behind them. She kind of have to wait a little bit. She actually, I don't know if we're going to spot it here, but she runs up. There you go. She runs up into the pocket, wants to move along with things because timing wise it looks 22 flat, 44 and 4. You think, okay, that's not that slow, but for that level, for that distance of 5 furlong, didn't come up that fast when you're looking at the time form rating. So I understand that she was like, hello, can we get a move on?
Yeah, don't get fooled by those fractions of pen on that turf course because it can get rock hard and just really the times are extremely quick. And look at this finish though. I tell you, Ann Merriman, no stranger to having some really good turf sprinters. This was an encouraging, very encouraging turf debut. So, Faslani, I know you've got her as a single, right? To try to go ahead and go wire to wire. There's some other ones there that I think are going to be, setting their sights by the time they turn for home. So she better have her running shoes on and her finishing shoes on. I go with the 5 behind the couch. Just a little hiccup up in New York, ran awfully big, 2 races back on the main track. I go back to the turf course. Look at that race behind Beantown Baby. 4 races back on your page. Beantown Baby is 5 for 8 on the turf. She's a killer. She handled the turf very well. Relaxed, rated kindly around the turn, was able to work between horses. Finished up game as can be. Just couldn't beat a really, really good horse. There is no Beantown Baby in here. I expect behind the couch to be 1-2.
Well, I'm wondering if this going is going to suit behind the couch. I had behind the couch on top, on the tip sheet, is my top pick. All right. Changed my selections this morning, seeing that the turf was coming up.
You can't do that.
I can. I can absolutely do that when the ground significantly changes.
Okay.
I don't think that the ground suits behind the couch running style. I think it favors Faslani. Faslani ran her best race on good going. I think, I'm putting this together thinking This suits Fast Lani
Better,
with the
yeah.
cut in the ground and not behind the couch. I respect her massively. I just don't think that this is going to favor her in the way things are setting up. But we'll see.
No. And
Clearly, we'll see what happens. But
that's the tough part with our job, when sometimes you've got to put things out in advance, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and even like morning line and such. Things happen, things change, track conditions.
significant change in the
significant
track
changes, yeah.
condition made me just
I'll
reassess
give you a
this.
pass this time. What about Chrome Plated Heart, the 11?
When she drew in, I thought I have to use her.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very tough and nimble filly for trainer Justin Nixon. I remember when she broke her maiden, she was my price play that day. Charlie was able to get her up through quite a
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
tight gap, actually. On the rail, she showed so much hump. That was on the turf. They wanted her on the turf again next time out. That got rained off. The way she runs and the way she presents herself, she's more turf filly to me. Just a little
Yeah.
bit lighter. Just,
Yeah.
you know, steps over it a little bit better. I think she can handle the soft going because she's not going to sink into it too much. I don't want to sit on her and then get beaten.
And I got a bad line. She's going to be down off of that 12-1. She was almost 7-1 in debut. The number lacking a little bit when you see 58 compared to 81 for Fast Lani at
True.
77.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be probably in about that 6 range when it's all said and done. But I tell you, field she beat was okay, but the way she did it, she handled a little bit of trouble. She was kind of boxed in. But, man, when she found the seam, she went through it and was not fully extended to win that afternoon.
Yeah, I do think we've covered the main players in this race. Race number 7, another interesting event. First level optional claimer, 6 furlong on the dirt. Significant scratch of the rail horse Sibelius. I thought he was going to be kind of that unknown factor in here, not lining up. So ended up landing on the number 2 Everett's Song. Let's look back at that quite emphatic win that he posted at Pimlico, where he got pinched at the start. He just kind of got, you know, the doors closed on him there.
Two Horse just takes a right-hand turn out of the gate and just puts him in a little bit of a tough spot there. He's got to steady and regroup, but he shows, you know, pretty good turn of foot to kind of get within range. And then when he gets out in the clear, he levels off. He's about 5 wide. And really, it's the last, like, 70 yards you watch this guy. But I like what they do. Dale Bennett, he's just went in a really, really high clip here. A lot of guys will say, well, let's go ahead and run him long. You know, he's had 2 sprints. Do what he does best, and this guy is just firing home on all cylinders. I like that move from Bennett coming right back here to a sprint.
Yeah, he closed into a bit of a soft pace, cleared impressively. Also, Pablo Morales only has 1 mount here today, and that is Everett's Songs. I think that's quite telling when a jockey comes up for one ride. That is very, very live for trainer Dale Bennett. Let's talk about the number 5, Cash Comes First. Both of us use him in second because in his last outing, he beat a couple of hard-knocking older horses. This is a 3-year-old. He's running against his own age group here. Was up against elders, including the likes of Degas, who I think is a really good sort of barometer for form.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Degas, a horse has been, I want to say if he was competitive in A other than, but, I mean, in those 32, those condition races, he's run fast. He's run good fix. This really might have been a shrewd claim by Henry Walters. He looks like the improving horse other than Everett Song, who's, you know, you can't really fault anything he's done. Kenny and Ocean Soup loves Barbados. I'm not sure if they're going to get their A race. I'd say I'd prefer the 3 a little bit more than the 4 at Sizzling Time. He goes to the front. He's going to have to get back to some of those earlier races if he's going to kind of be a factor here late. But shorter field, competitive field. Yeah, I'm really interested to see if Everett Song takes it up another notch.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm really sold on Everett Song as well as Cash Comes First. I feel like those are the progressive types in here. Kind of take a wait-and-see approach with the 2 Dale Capuano runners, who are both coming off the back of turf effort. So we were mentioning his stats when it comes to switching from the turf to the dirt. Not sure it works out in this race. So we are going to see as we move along to race number 8. Fillies and mares, maiden claiming 25 to 20,000, 1 mile on the turf course. So that's our first turf event going along here. We'll start with the horse that you use on top, the number 1, Happy Life. The blinkers go on, first time Lasix, and as well as a relative drop in class from that New York race, Belmont. She raced up and now trying to find an easier spot. I mean, she's been running at these really tough spots. Belmont, Keeneland, Oakland Park. We know during those times that the horses that turn up in the maiden claiming or the maiden special weights events are ready to go.
Yeah, I kind of looked just at the buyer at Belmont, at 56. The sixth-place finisher came back and ran okay at Delaware, around like a 55 or in that range. I think a mid-50s is going to get it done here. Just projection, because the run happies haven't been that strong on the turf, right?
Yeah.
They're at about a 5% clip, but you've got LASIKs on, you've got blinkers on, an owner-trainer combo and jockey combo. They've had, not a ton of races together, but they've done quite well when they've teamed up at this meet. So I'm just playing that angle right there, the hot hand with the one Happy Life and a couple like passes with the LASIKs and the blinkers.
Yeah, I used Ghost Maiden as my top selection for Kelly Ruby, Julian Pimentel. She was protected in her first 2 starts, now drops back down from that maiden 40 to the maiden 25 level. Both races, she had to loop the field. I think now the trip here is obviously questionable again, but at least outside it means that it's up to Julian Pimentel to position her where possibly she can save a little bit more ground than she's done in her last couple, because she doesn't have that early tactical speed.
No, she doesn't, and she was hampered behind slower paces and just couldn't fire into them. The drop is going to pick her head up in here, no doubt. Shorter field, won't have to navigate as much traffic. So I think Julian will be able to kind of just draft back early and then pick his spots maybe from the 3/8 pole home as to how he wants to approach it. She's going to bring a good enough finisher to get her into money.
Yeah, and you also used the number 4 Monster Rising and the number 3 Leia Organa, hoping to find a couple more prices.
Yeah, 3 possible speed, I think, with a cost of the 4. Just kind of like a stayer around this group. She doesn't bring a big punch. Love the family on the bottom side, but she's going to have to do just a little bit more here. But the mile might be a little bit better. She might stay a little bit better here at a mile.
Might help her out indeed. That's the final race on the card today. Time is flying. Let's move on to lightning round. Of course, have to highlight that our leading rider, Charlie Marquez, extends that sort of winning margin with a triple. 3 back-to-back races he won. Race 5 through to race 7. Ordinary Girl for Kyle Lynch. Starburst for Stidham, who was fast improving. And Depository, who you see here, who Charlie really had to set down and work on.
Yeah, no doubt. Battle back. Look beaten at the 8th pole. Johnny Sack went in front by about a half a length, but Marquez and the horse said, nope, we're going to battle back, and got the job done. All those races kind of up on the front end. Starburst, we were talking about that one, right, on the early show. Could that one improve from that 60 buyer in debut? How about up to a 77 yesterday? Was able to sprint away from those horses and really tenacious the last 16th of a mile.
Yeah, certainly improved as a 3-year-old. And I've been keeping my eye out for the Maryland breds across the country, more specifically at Saratoga. We do have a pair of 2-year-old Maryland breds in Saratoga made in special weight. So we have a first-time starter, a 2-year-old filly. Jester calls No Joy for Todd Pletcher. She's running in race number 5. And then in race number 2, we also have a 2-year-old on the turf, Flip the Script, for Tom Albertrani on the second start. Both Maryland bred, so I always think it's good to keep our eye out on how the Mid-Atlantic progeny is doing on the big stage at the Spa. Now let's have a look at another race from yesterday. Belle Tapisserie back home in the Gear McGee stable, and we were discussing it, able to win the race that we thought that perhaps Eastern Bay was going to do better.
Yeah, Guerin and Carlos Lopez, the jockey, they've teamed up for a couple good prices. And this one here, our top selection at I think paid $21.20, and just tracked the pace. Thought had a little bit more tactical speed than Eastern Bay. I didn't foresee Eastern Bay getting off that slowly, but man, this horse was all the way through the wire, very, very strong. Separated itself, from the 3/16th to a 16th. It was over right there.
Yeah.
Back home.
You were saying about Eastern Bay not getting away quickly. That's a pattern that I saw in his last 2
Yeah,
races, that he wasn't helping himself when the gates opened. So very unfortunate to see. Did something similar, left himself with way too much to do. As we'll finish things off with our sister track, Golden Gate Fields. We have a mandatory payout today. So if you feel like handicapping our track on the West Coast, why not? Because it might just pay.
And I think Gulfstream's got big money given away down there in a pick 6, I believe, in a rainbow today. So yeah, all the Stronach tracks. Dig in, go get that money, get set up, get yourself comfortable, get your first bet account set up, and let's roll.
Absolutely. First Bet, our preferred wagering partner for the Maryland Jockey Club as well. And as usual, like you highlighted, the Stronach Group, the Stronach Tracks, Gulfstream Park and us here at Pimlico Golden Gate feels plenty of opportunities to make some money here on this gorgeous Sunday. I'll be back later on this afternoon to hopefully pick some winners with Calais Francois, and you'll be upstairs, right?
We'll be up there doing the charts.
Good luck, everyone.
You got it. Good luck.